Good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me this time. This is Be'ilui Nishmat Ishti, Alize Faiza Bat Yosef Naim Vasalima. Now, today I want to discuss with you a powerful story. All the stories are powerful, otherwise I wouldn't bring them. But it's very interesting the lives we Jews live. After all, it seems like yesterday we had Shavuot, even Pesach. It flies by. Very important on Shavuot, we know that Melech David died at his yahrzeit. And that's why we read Megillat Ruth. So it's suitable to talk about Ruth. And here is a story that we all know, that Elimelech, who was very wealthy, took his daughter, his wife and two sons, and they traveled to MOAV. Why? They say because he was very wealthy, had a big storehouse of food, and he didn't want to give it away. Whether that's true or not, it was raided later, and people were so hungry they just stole anything anyway. But still, they went to MOAV. There, the sons did very well. They were wealthy, and they both married princesses, and Moabite princesses, which later on might have been a technical problem. And that's one of the big reasons why Ruth, the Megillat Ruth, was also written, to show that David HaMelech, yes, he descends from a Moabitess, but it's only a Moav that were banned and not a Moabitess. Now, so we go back to this, they are there, and eventually Elimelech and the two sons both die. And here are left Ruth and ORPAH. And they both cry, they want to go with NAOMI back home. And they want to go with her. And they cried, and she said, what is the point? I've got no more sons, and I'm not married. I'm also at this age, I won't get more sons. Why would you think it's worthwhile going? Who are you going to marry? You won't be able to marry anyone. So ORPAH kissed her mother-in-law once again, and she went. And Ruth, of course, said the very famous words which said, and this became the formula for becoming Jewish, and she said, your people are my people, where you go, I will go, and your destiny is mine. Because even though Ruth said, look, it's very dangerous to be a Jew. It's not an easy thing to be a Jew. And you have to realize this. She nevertheless took this on, and she clung to her mother-in-law. ORPAH just kissed her. And they went both on their ways. Now, if we zoom fast forward, and we come to a time with Goliath. Why do we talk about Goliath? Because of David. And here is Goliath every single day, morning and evening, cursing the Jews, screaming out loud, disturbing them in their tefillah. They can't pray in the morning, they can't pray in the evening. He leaves them alone during the day, which is interesting. And he does this for 40 days. For 40 days. So the question is asked, how on earth did Goliath know 40 days? How did he know just then to disturb the Jews when they want to say Shema Shacharit and Shema at night and Mariv? They're not going to better pray. How did he know that this was so? And when little David was given permission by the king to come to kill him, he laughed at him and cursed his God, and he was shouting and screaming at him. And the same abuse. And here, what had happened? How did he know all of this? He actually was ORPAH's son. ORPAH says that when she left her mother-in-law, she felt so empty. She felt nothing inside. She couldn't continue. And so what did she do? Like a lot of people, unfortunately, today we see this. If they find emptiness inside, they try and overcome this by taking drugs, and the drug's not strong enough, so they take more and more drugs, or they drink, or they gamble. It is something that most of the time cannot be cured. They can't get over it, and this is what happened to her. And it's interesting that the Midrash call her ORPAH, but describes her as Arafah. Arafah means wheat, the chaff of the wheat that blows in the wind. She literally that night slept with a lot of men. And it was to cover up. She couldn't take it. And there are women who have this illness, so men do as well, have this illness which they cannot control. And that's what happened to her. As a result, she had a son called Goliath. Now, Goliath, he was brought up by a Jewish mother. They were brought up in a religious family. She knew everything. So did he. He knew exactly the right time to go and curse the Jews. He exactly knew that it was 40 days it had to be, because that's when they were given the Torah. So he was cursing the Torah as well. Why was he cursing? Because deep inside he wanted to fight against his inner self. His inner self is pulling him towards Judaism, but he's frightened of it. He doesn't want to take all the responsibility, all the risks of being a Jew. So he fought against it. And what happens to a lot of Jews who convert? Immediately they fight and they hate the very source of their Judaism. And what do? As we know, when they become priests, they become the worst enemies of the Jews, the most powerful, really doing things much, much, much more than the non-Jews would do. And that's what they did, and we have that experience. And that's what happened with him. So here he was shouting and screaming. But he was the son of ORPAH, and David, grandmother, was NAOMI. Who better than that? And so here he was, and of course we know the story. David succeeded in killing him, and that was the end of Goliath. And of course, then the Jews could win the battle against them, because it was a battle of hatred. It was a battle to destroy the Jews. It was not just a war that was even necessary for MOAV to have, but they had the war, and of course the story comes out about later on, we know. And we have David HaMelech, who satiated the world with the Psalms and singing. And that was his whole life, praise of Hashem, and he satiated everybody. And it's very interesting because I just closed the windows. They're pruning the trees outside. And I read a beautiful explanation of this. Lezamer not only means to sing, but it means to prune. And the whole idea of the Psalms is that we should prune ourselves to grow again as stronger Jews. Many people say Psalms, and we'll be discussing them at a much later date, the actual meaning of each Psalm and what they cure and how they help. And the people come, many people, we know this, to save somebody's life, we say Psalms. When somebody's ill, we say Tehillim. This is a well-known thing, and singing it is even better. So the hope is, at least for that person or for us, we'll be pruned and we will grow again. The whole thing is to bring back life. It sometimes it seems to not work sometimes, but really every hour, every day, every month, every year that's added on, you must know that that is what those Tehillim are doing for you. It may be for a very long time, but you have to know it definitely has an effect. And we have seen many, many cases where somebody, the doctor said, you'll only live for 3 years, 6 months, 5 years. And they carry on for another 5 or 8 years. Each day is a blessing. Keep saying the Tehillim with sincerity. And so what's the day's bracha? The day's bracha is that we should attach ourselves so much to our tefillot and to the Psalms, that we should prune ourselves in order that we should grow again strong. And we give a love to everybody, and they too should grow strong. And then together we will bring blessing every day to each other and to ourselves. Have a wonderful day.